Okay, so we're in a little bit more of a familiar situation today. I'm back in my room. Thankfully, it's not absolutely melting degrees Celsius currently. And yeah, anyway, hello and welcome back to the Lion's Den. I'm your host, Matt, as always. And I'm not entirely sure what I want to talk about this week. There was a brief period of time where everyone else is out of the house and it's quiet so I can record and not be self conscious about me screaming like an idiot. But I suppose I'll talk about a few things that have recently happened, some minor things, some fun things. So I think the more interesting thing to start off with is what happened over the weekend when I went on my little vacation-y trip. Also, someone is making a really annoying humming noise, so I'm very sorry if that's being picked up right now, but I can hear it, and if the microphone can hear it, then sad. Yeah, so first experience of being on a train in like years, and first experience of going on a train by myself. Great. No, it was fine, honestly. I was very fortunate that every time I needed to get to the train station, somebody was able to drive me, so I'm very fortunate and very thankful of that. Thank you. It saves that kind of panic because obviously you get to choose when you go, and also it's infinitely faster than trying to take a bus and rely on public transport, so that was really nice. The finding the train situation was interesting. So I'm semi-familiar with our train station in my hometown, but I was taking two trains to get down to where I was going, which meant that I was then going to two other train stations and would have to then figure out how they worked. So that was fun. But honestly, train stations here, they're weird. Like the ones I went to were weird layouts, but they made sense. And I mean, I had to do the whole fun thing of being socially anxious but having to ask people for help, because that's the best thing to do. But it worked out in the end, and I found my trains perfectly on time, all of the boards lined up with what my phone was saying, so that was all good. The only terrifying thing is when you're actually then sat on the train waiting to go, because it's not like a bus, right, where 5 minutes later you're, I don't know, a quarter of a mile somewhere else and you can get off and change. No, if you get on a train, it's going to be maybe 15 minutes and you're going to be in another part of the country by that time. So the option for failure is very, very high. The opportunity for failure is very high. The problem with that is I was not familiar with how my journey was going to work, right? I've never made this journey before. I'm just going based off what the automatic generation told me was the best route, right? First problem with trains, they don't tell you the full route of the train you're getting on, which is really, really annoying. Okay, so let's say you're going to from point A to B, but the train that you're getting on goes from A to C, right? But stops at B. That's how trains work, duh. My train ticket told me, oh, you're going from A to B. It didn't then tell me what the final destination of that train was. So I'm trying to look for my train going to point B, but really I need to be looking at point C that I don't know and figure out that the one that goes from A to C has B along the way, and that's what I want. It would have been really nice to have known where the trains were ending up, so I'm like, right, I need to get on the train that's going to C because it stops at B where I want to actually be. The other problem with that is, right, the first leg of the train does something really terrifying. Or at least really terrifying to me who didn't understand how it worked. So it initially starts going one direction, let's say it starts going forward, and then it essentially gets to what amounts to a 3-point turn but for a train. But if you're not paying attention to that, you don't know that you've turned around. So we got like 30 minutes into my journey going one direction, and then the train starts going the other direction. I'm sat there, I'm like that SpongeBob caveman meme going, what's going on? And I'm like freaking out thinking, oh no, was I supposed to get off and change? Is that what they said over the tannoy? I wasn't listening to what they said over the tannoy. I'm having like a full-on freak out. You know when you get like your heart starts going, you feel that like wash of dread over your body. I'm there texting my dad like, oh god no, I've made a mistake. I think I was supposed to get off. And then they say over the intercom tannoy thing like, oh yes, we're stopping now at A, B, C, D, E. And I'm like, oh, those are the stops that I'm supposed to be going to. It's fine. I'm actually on the right train. So that was just. I wish. Well, I suppose nobody could have told me that had they not realized that I wouldn't have known that. But also, nobody I know would have known that to tell me to know that. Do you understand? But outside of that minor panic, it was fine. Train stations are weirdly nice places to be. You know, you've got food and coffee shops that are readily accessible. So that was cool. Coming back was funny because the time I was coming back, when I got to my changeover point, I had an hour in this station just because it's annoying how the trains lined up, and it was also like 6 o'clock, so it's like, I probably want to get some dinner. First thing, this is where I had to ask the people in the train station. I was like, I'm on the platform side, and there are barriers that you scan your ticket to get to the like city side, and I had to say to I had to say to one of the staff members, I'm like, I want to get food, but also I'm supposed to be this side because I'm getting a connection train. And he was just like, can you just show me your ticket? And I was like, here's my ticket. He's like, yeah, that's fine. We'll just let you in and out. Just make sure to say to us, and you can then get in and out and go get some food. So that was cool. That was also then hilarious because I went and picked up a meal deal, and I picked up a salad. It was really nice. Okay, this salad had some tuna in it, some new potatoes, cucumber, peppers, tomatoes, some salad leaves. Really nice salad. The problem is it didn't come pre-packaged with a fork because they've changed how that works here in the UK. You can now either opt to not bother getting a fork from like a meal deal style thing that has a salad and use one that you've got yourself, or they have like a little container with some ones in that you can pick up if you're out and about. They didn't have any in that container, so I purchased the food, left the store, went, oh, I need a fork. Oh, they don't have any forks. How do I eat my salad? Thankfully, a very nice lady at the nearby Starbucks had some wooden cutlery that was very happy to just give to me for free. So thank you very much, lady at Starbucks. You saved a very tired me traveling back via train who just wanted to eat a salad. But yeah, that's the joys of traveling on trains. This is probably all standard stuff for people who ride the train far more frequently than I do, but it was a wild situation for me. The funny thing for me is I thought I would have a harder time with the fact that I'm sat on a moving vehicle, basically unable to do anything, and by myself for like 3 hours. I thought that was going to be the hard part. No, the hard part was the stress and anxiety of figuring out which train I'm getting on and making sure I'm not going to like Cyprus. Cyprus isn't even England. What am I saying? I was trying to think of that place in Wales that begins with a C and a Y. I'm not even going to pretend to try and pronounce it because I will butcher it. Yeah, that. Other than that, it was like oddly enjoyable. The journey down, I think, was worse in terms of like feeling motion sick because I was more stressed about making sure I was going the right place, but I was still fine. And I passed the time with a podcast. I'm so glad I've now found podcasts. Because I think I've talked about this, I get very easily motion sick, and the only thing I can really do when I'm on moving transport is listen to music, which does get tiring, surprisingly, after like maybe an hour. But a podcast is constantly changing, right? They're talking, there's different things happening, so listening to that for a couple hours, not at all fatiguing and enjoyable. So that's kind of what this is all about. Otherwise, I was bizarre. I was weird on the way back. I didn't listen to anything. I just sat there in like dead silence on a train full of other people and just kind of watched the world go by. I think I was just tired and didn't really want to sit there listening to high energy music or people talking on a podcast, so I just kind of zoned out. And I think the journey back went faster because, one, I was paying attention to make sure I ended up going the reverse of the way I went out, which I think that's exactly what happened. But also I was just kind of tired and I just wanted to go home. But I was also kind of sad because, I was leaving my friends. So yeah, fun. I suppose the only thing is, didn't do masses over the weekend with my friends that I went to meet, but that's kind of what I needed. I just needed some time with friends just to relax and chill. We did some stuff, like we played video games. We went to a couple local places to eat. That was really nice. We did an escape room, which was really fun because they said to me, they were like, oh, have you ever done an escape room before? We've done quite a few around this area. And I'm like, I've never done one. I'd love to do one. So we did an escape room. That was great. Maybe I'll talk about that next week. Yeah, I'm going to write that down and save that for next week. Whether that's going to be a whole episode's worth of content, who knows? Maybe I'll have to try and stretch it out. But yeah, we'll talk about the escape room next time. So yeah, we did that. Oh yeah, we played some board games. They have tons of board games, my friends, which was really interesting to kind of play those and explore the different realms that you can jump into. Like the two we played, one was basically one of those kind of sliding puzzles where essentially you've got a grid with a bunch of walls in it and you can move the pieces in straight lines, but once you move them in a direction, they have to keep continuing until they hit something. And the concept of the game was you had multiple pieces and you had a randomly generated end goal, and the way you competed against each other was you had to find the least number of moves solution to get one piece to the provided spot, and it was kind of like a race between who could do it or who could do it better. That was really hard. I could not do that one at all. The other one we did was this kind of like chess style strategy building game where you've got a grid and you've got some like player pieces on them, and the idea is that as you move around the board you build small towers, and the concept is you have to build a staircase of towers up 3 levels? Yeah, up 3 levels, and slowly work your way up to standing on the top 3rd level, and that's how you win. But obviously there's other people playing the game and they can easily block and redistribute pieces. So it's kind of a strategy of where do you put your pieces, where do you move your pieces, and which pieces do you start climbing to try and get to the top. It was really fun, really interesting. I lost a lot. I won one, I think. So like, yay, because they said they'd been playing it a lot. So considering I'd been playing it for like an hour was pretty impressive. So, but yeah, fun. I absolutely destroyed them at Mario Kart. That was one of the video games we played because I have no chill when it comes to Mario Kart. But that's the fun of it, I think. Yeah, we just kind of relaxed and enjoyed each other's company. There was a really nice little cafe that's by the house that we went to. They have a cat called Gizmo who's adorable, but also kind of like a grumpy old cat because he'll bite and scratch you if you do too much, which was funny watching them do. He never did it to me because I'm like, I know how your boundaries work, so I'm just gonna like play it chill because I'm a stranger and you're probably more likely to eat me. But no, that was cool. So yeah, fun times. I would highly recommend. But yeah, other than that, a good weekend. This week's been nice as well. I've had this week off to relax, and here we are. Yeah, so I hope you've all enjoyed listening, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.